Today we're going to talk about how stress is actually keeping you from reaching your goals. And if you're new here, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and grab the bell while you're down there so you know when a new video is dropped. I'm Camilla Bringsley and I'm a clinical dietitian and a binge and emotional eating coach. And I'm also the founder of Wholehearted Transformation, the program for releasing emotional eating and weight loss struggle, because you deserve to feel your best and getting the results you're dreaming of. Do you often get so stressed during your day that it feels like it's too much and you're desperate for an escape, a break, or just something so you can cope? All you want is to be free from the stress and the endless to-dos and the overwhelming feeling of life being just too much. You need a break, and you dream of days without the hustle and bustle, but it feels like an impossible dream because you're stuck where you are. Many of the ladies I talk with every day say things like, when this next thing is out of the way, when this phase is over, when this project is finished, then everything will get better. Then I'll deal with my food issues. Then I'll deal with my weight, etc. But there's always new things coming up, and there will always be new items on the list, new demands. And it will only lead you to chase your own tail, and you will never reach that finish line because it always gets pushed in front of you. And the restlessness, the exhaustion, and the feeling of being constantly tired is chronic, and you can't even remember the last time you felt energized and not tired. And living with chronic stress and overwhelm are the biggest triggers for people to turn to food and drinks to cope in an exhausting everyday life. And using food as a strategy works every time because your brain gets a break and it feels like it's ensuring your survival. Because stress is a threat for us as an organism, and it is an extremely unpleasant feeling for the brain because the brain is unable to distinguish between a deadline at work or a life-threatening situation where you almost get hit by a car. And therefore, your brain will do everything it can do to move you from where you are in the stress to just feeling a little less bad. And remember, listen now, it's about feeling a little less bad, not feeling good. So even if it's just feeling a little less bad for 5 milliseconds, your brain will go for it. And then food is always a safe winner for activating your reward center in your brain. So you get that break, you get a distraction, an escape, and thereby the pattern is created. And if you struggle with these patterns, with stress, with overwhelm, with emotional eating, with overeating, bad habits, and struggling to lose weight and living a healthy life, these are actually only symptoms of the underlying things. And it all comes down to a completely different pattern that's going on the inside. And I will mention some aspects of those patterns here. First, we have perfectionism. You go through your days with an inner critic and you're always afraid of being judged, criticized, or not being good enough. You spend a lot of time on the really small nitty-gritty details and you stress over doing most of the things you're doing every day. And things take so much more time than they should, and even if you get things done, you're still stressed out, and in the worst case, you feel like nothing will be good enough anyway, so you never get the feeling of completion. And then we have overanalyzing. You constantly think what ifs, and you never really finish anything because you go back and spend even more time on different scenarios again and again and again. And everything feels unclear and messy, and the overwhelm intensifies, and you have no idea where to start, and you feel completely stressed out and out of control. And then we have people pleasing. You say yes, and you hear yourself saying yes when on the insides it's actually no. And you take on too much from others even though you know you don't want to. Nevertheless, you kind of like being the person who's known for always being so gentle, so open, so the one who always fixes things, etc. And being there for everyone else, even though you are actually sacrificing yourself along the way, so you get even more exhausted. And then we have an extreme need for security and certainty. Because before you start doing anything, you think, what if this happens? What if that happens? And then you continue to spin off on this because you want to have a guarantee that it's going to be safe and secure before you take action or make a massive decision, so you know you're going to reach it or make it. However, you will never find that security because it doesn't exist. You will be stuck in the decision-making process because you will never find these guarantees, because security comes from experience and that comes through actions. And then we have low self-worth. You never feel good enough and constantly worry about others seeing it. And this naturally leads to a lot of stress, and this steals away so much mental capacity, focus, and energy from all areas of your life. You go through your days always finding the evidence of everything that's not good enough, and you're left with a bad feeling of never being enough or managing enough or being worthy enough. And then you have monkey brain. I know it's a weird term, but it works because that is your focus being all over the place. Your brain is constantly jumping from one thing to the other, and you're always multitasking, either physically or mentally or both. And this only makes your head spin, and you get even more stressed out because you're terrified of forgetting something or falling short or not being able to complete something. And you always feel like you're not able to complete things because you spin from one task to the other and don't get to finish anything. You're multitasking. It's a mess. And the thing is that this list could go on for much, much longer, but the probability that there's some things here you could recognize in yourself if you struggle with stress is really high. And that's why you might be overwhelmed right now too, because you're thinking, oh, how am I going to handle all of this? It's so much, it's such a huge task, etc. I need to fix this and that, and so on. And then you're already doing overwhelm and stress. So these patterns also make it impossible for you to live a healthy life, to live a balanced life, and to fix your food issues and to lose weight and stay there for two reasons. The first one is you don't have emotional fitness and you expect quick results in everything you do because you're searching for the security that this will work, the certainty. And if something doesn't work or the weight doesn't move, you overthink everything and you question everything and then you give up. You're getting into total fear of doing anything because you're so confused and so afraid of doing things wrong. And combined with this, you do perfectionism around everything you do. From the food, from the workout, from the tasks and everything. Something that only leads to suffering because you're constantly looking for what isn't good enough or what isn't perfect in everything you do. And the fear of failure gets bigger and bigger, and at the end you feel pushed into a corner of tormenting yourself, and you feel so restricted, and you associate going on a diet to so much struggle, and in addition the results aren't coming, so you feel lost. All this overthinking, stress, and fear of failure causes your body to be chronically activated in fight or flight. Your cortisol levels are through the roof, and this actually promotes fat storage in your body, not fat burning. So all of these are patterns that keep you stuck in the problems of weight loss struggle, emotional eating and stress eating, low self-worth, low self-esteem, and a bad relationship with yourself. So fortunately, there is a solution to all of this that will help you solve these issues. But we need to be working on the deeper things to actually solve the whole problem, because these are all parts of the same problem if we struggle with stress, overwhelm, weight loss, and food. And we have to work and create a transformation from the inside out to manage to create these permanent changes. And if we're going to manage to lose weight and keep it off, then we have to start with emotional fitness. And you have to learn this, because only then you will be completely free and get the results you want, despite the fact that life and circumstances not always go smoothly or as expected. And it doesn't have to take long time to create change. Overwhelm, stress, overeating, binge eating, comfort eating can be a closed chapter within a few weeks if you use the right tools and the right strategies. So don't wait until the stars are in position, because perfect timing doesn't exist. And if you want to overcome these patterns of struggling once and for all, then start with checking out my free course on all mental aspects of weight loss struggle, binge and emotional eating. I've added the link in the notes below. So that's it for today, and if there's anything you want me to make a video about, please drop it in the comments, and I look forward to see you next time.